American Nazarene University, a 6-foot junior from Moquaketa, Iowa, number 14, Adam Hepker. At a guard for Mount Vernon Nazarene University, a 6-foot sophomore from Archbold, Ohio, number 20, Dan Borchert. For the Pioneers, a 6-foot 5-inch senior from Gardner, Kansas, number 21, Jake Neller. At a guard for the Cougars, a 5-foot 11-inch junior from Pickerington, Ohio, number 12, Dustin Oltekin. At a forward for Mid-American Nazarene University, a 6-foot 9-inch sophomore from Monticello, Iowa, number 13, Cal Kibbers. At a forward for Mount Vernon Nazarene, a 6-foot 4-inch senior from Georgetown, Ohio, number 32, Ryan C. Schultz. At a forward for the Pioneers, a 6-foot 7-inch senior from Des Moines, Iowa, number 23, Quinn War. At a forward for the Cougars, a 6-foot 6-inch senior from Ashland, Ohio, number 44, Mark Hess. At center for Mid-American Nazarene, a 6-foot 6-inch sophomore from Platte City, Missouri, number 00, Danny Hawkins. And at center for Mount Vernon Nazarene, a 7-foot senior from Edgewood, Kentucky, number 45, Steve Mays. The head coach for Mid-American Nazarene University is Rocky Lamar. The head coach for Mount Vernon Nazarene University is Scott Fleming. Our officials today are Jeff Campbell, Bobby Besant, and Gary Durbin. The National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics and its member schools are committed to promoting character development in collegiate athletics.
With a lot of height head-to-head, and unfortunately we're not going to quite see that matchup. But Mount Vernon Nazarene did survive a 20-point deficit in the second half in round one without their leading scorer in Falkenberg. So he went down middle of the first half, and they overcame that and won. It affects their depth, though, today. They don't go very deep on the bench. Only 8 guys played yesterday. Now with Falkenberg out, that means really only 2 significant players that can come off the bench for them. And you miss a guy that can match Hepker's ability at point guard. But Olkinson, a junior, played well, and a great effort by the Cougars yesterday. We'll see if they can overcome the loss of their All-American here today in round 2.
Winner of this game will play in the quarterfinals tomorrow at 3 against Indiana Wesleyan, who defeated Oregon Tech 95-82. Mount Vernon Nazarene will be the home team on the scoreboard, dressed in white jerseys with blue trim. Mid-American Nazarene in road red with blue numerals and red, white, and blue trim. Scramble for the basketball right away off the opening tap, and it's picked up by Jake Neller, the 6'5 senior out of Gardner, Kansas. They'll swing it on the left side to Neller. Neller closely guarded by Burkhead, V-O-R-C-H-E-R-D-T. You'll double check the pronunciation on that one. The fadeaway jumper is up and in by a Quinn Ward. The senior from Des Moines, averaging 9, had 6 in their victory over Trinity International, 69-59 yesterday. A 2-0 lead for Mid-American Nazarene. 3-point shot is up and in from the top of the circle. That's Dustin Oltekin. These teams will get it up and down the court in a hurry. Ward drives the baseline, lost the basketball, but still ends up in the hands of the teammate Danny Hawkins. Nice move inside, shot from point blank range is up and in.
And a ball fake around the 7-footer who blocks a lot of shots. A good move by Hawkins to finish.
Ed, did Evangel play both of these clubs this year or just Mid-America?
Just Mid-American Nazarene. Evangel had Huntington, had a lot of the teams that were in this tournament during the regular season. Of course, had the Pioneers 3 times. And in Mid-American Nazarene, their only loss to an NAIA Division II team on the year. Pioneers' other loss to Park University in NAIA Division I.
Steve Mays hits the jumper from the foul line at the other end. A layup good for Jake Neller.
And that's the way the Pioneers play. They get a fast break, you score, and you've got to get back on defense because their fast break is fantastic. And something they really didn't show yesterday, they won by 10 over Trinity International in a game that they really weren't particularly aggressive in, but They're thinking for the long haul, Mike, and may have paced themselves a tad in winning by 10 in round 1.
On the baseline, shot up and in off the window for Steve Mays. His arms just seem to go from baseline to baseline. Yeah. It's amazing.
He's 7 foot with a wingspan that's even taller.
Yeah. They take it right at him in the lane. Hawkins gets out before a 3-second violation, passes back near midcourt to Adam Hepker. The Conference Player of the Year from Maquoketa, Iowa, averaging 17 points per game, had 17 in the victory against Trinity International. Whistle and a foul called underneath. Gary Durbin, Jeff Campbell, Bobby Busson, our three-man officiating crew. Steve Mays picking up the foul for Mount Vernon Nazarene, his first.
Well, the Pioneers may have conserved some energy yesterday. The Cougars could not.
A leaner for Neller off the iron. Mays will chase down the basketball, flips it to an open teammate in Dustin Ultican. 3-point shot out on the wing, no good. Stop and go move by Hepker. Whistle and a foul on the floor.
For the Cougars to advance and get an upset here, it's going to take everything they have this afternoon, and they're going to have to play very, very smart. But what you like about Mount Vernon Nazarene, if you've watched them play in this tournament, not just this year but last year when they got to the quarterfinals, they're a team that gives a fantastic effort, and they do play smart. That makes the impression, it gives you the impression this is going to be a fun one to watch today. Was that backcourt or not?
It sure looked like it, although they're probably going to say he never had control of it, the team control, if you will, even though it went off his hand. There's a steal. Seaschultz has it rejected by War, and a foul called underneath by referee Jeff Campbell. Boy, Quinn War showing some ups, if you will.
Oh, that guy can, you got to watch the ceiling when he jumps because his head might hit it.
Cal Kibbers with the personal foul, his first. 7-6 lead for Mount Vernon Nazarene. We have played 3 minutes. Foul line jumper by Seaschultz, no good, but he is fouled. On Danny Hawkins, his first, and the team fouls even at 2 apiece. So the first free throws will be shot this afternoon by Mount Vernon Nazarene. Ryan Seaschultz, the senior from Georgetown, Ohio, just a 58% foul shooter. First one up, no good.
You know, I said that Falkenberg is out. He is actually in uniform on their bench. His right hand heavily bandaged and taped up. I'm sure he can't go, but he's there nonetheless. Maybe putting in the back of the opponent's mind that I could come in there just any time. Type of mind games come into play in postseason play.
They love for a Quinn War who stuffs it home on a great assist from Adam Hepker.
Wow.
Tied at 8, first tie of the ball game. 16:34 to go in the first half. You're right, Ed, he about hit his head on the ceiling.
I wasn't kidding. He is a highlight film type player.
Turnover. Neller 2-on-2 the other way. Adam Hepker cut off. Runberg, baseline jumper. Neller will bounce in. Jake Neller with 4. And Mid-America Nazarene with a 10-8 lead. We've played 4 minutes. 18-foot jumper short by Mays. Offensive rebound inside. Shot put up and in by Marquez. Tied at 10, 4 minutes deep into the first half. Great feed inside to Hawkins for 2. Runberg with the assist. Danny Hawkins, a 58% field goal shooter, puts the Pioneers back up by a basket. Coming off a screen, it's Dustin Ultican, U-L-T-I-C-A-N. Hess backs in, turnaround jumper, good. He looks bigger than 6'6", plays bigger than 6'6", tied at 12.
Honorable mention All-American a year ago. Had a quiet first half, the key to their comeback in round 1.
Entry pass into Ryan Runberg, poked out of bounds. Mid-America Nazarene will keep it in for the Cougars. Matt McKinley, 6'3", sophomore from Columbus, Ohio. Matt Clark in for the Pioneers, a 6'4", senior from Olathe, Kansas. And also checking in. They had one more sneak in, I guess not. Ryan Runberg, the 6'4 senior from Olathe. That's the other Pioneer that checked in. I thought I saw two at the scorer's table. Hawkins has it stripped. Cougars come up with a steal. They have 3-on-2 the other way. Oltekin, top of the circle to Connor Gregg. Drives the right lane. Pull-up jumper, no good. Tip attempt, no good, and a foul called underneath. Ed, it's kind of tough for a 7-footer to hide when you go over the back.
It is, and you just have to be careful because you certainly are tall enough and athletic enough to have an advantage to reach over the top and pull one down, but you got to watch how much contact you initiate when you come over the top and try to get a board.
Tied at 12. We've played 5 minutes. Mid-America Nazarene with the basketball in front court. Kibbers goes up for the shot and is fouled. Connor Gregg, the guilty party. Well, let's see. He got him, and Borchert, B-O-R-C-H-E-R-D-T, picks up his first personal. Kibbers, a 62% free throw shooter. First and 2 is up and in. Adam Hepker back in. And he'll replace Matt Clark. Kibbers with 11 points in the victory over Trinity International. Doesn't get the second one to go down, and the ball poked out of bounds by Mid-America Nazarene. Mount Vernon Nazarene will get it back. The Cougars down 1 with the basketball, 14:20 to go here in the first half of play. 3-ball up and in for Dustin Oltekin out of the right wing. Well, he's hit 2 baskets. They've both been threes. Turnover. Here come the Cougars quickly in front court, up by 2. Baseball pass out to Seaschultz for 3 off the iron. Defensive rebound to Danny Hawkins. In front court to Runberg. Man-to-man defense by Mid-America. By Mount Vernon Nazarene. Mid-America in the red jerseys going from left to right. Hawkins at the top of the circle, left side to Hepker. Oltekin draws the defensive assignment on him. They switch. They give it to Hawkins in the low post. Nice double team again by Mount Vernon Nazarene.
Great defense.
Shot clock at 5 and a blocking foul inside. Boy, you play defense hard for 31 seconds and then Mid-America gets bailed out on the blocking foul.
Mid-America did attack it well. Had a drive down the lane. Hess could not quite get there in time and winds up getting stuck with a block in his first foul.
Matt McKinley back in for Mount Vernon Nazarene. That foul on Mark Hess, his first. 5 team fouls on the Cougars, just 2 team fouls on the Pioneers. Long inbounds pass to Adam Hepker. Bell down on the block. Back out on the wing again. Just great defense by Mount Vernon. Hepker lost it, picked up by Runberg. Plenty of time on the shot clock, just now inside 20. Bell at the right elbow. Finds an open person on the baseline, and Kibbers who puts it up and in. Kibbers with 3 points. Cal Kibbers, the sophomore from Monticello, Iowa. Tied at 15, 4th tie already of the first half. We have played 7 minutes. Contact but no foul called as Connor Gregg went up for the shot. Mid-America Nazarene with it in front court. Tied at 15, the winner will move on to the quarterfinals tomorrow at 3 against 10th seed Indiana Wesleyan. Quinn War on the left side to Adam Hepker. Brenton Bell, pull-up jumper from 15, good. Nothing but net for Brenton Bell, the freshman from Olathe.
That's switching on the screens again as Bell came through a pick. He was guarded to prevent a 3, and the defenders tried to switch back. That left Bell open, able to penetrate to 15 feet and hit the pull-up.
Mid-America has never had a lead bigger than 2. Ball knocked out of bounds as checking in for Mid-America, Jake Neller. And also back in Matt Clark. Ed, you really, really wonder about the absence of Ben Falkenberg, how that will play out here as the sophomore for Mount Vernon with that broken hand yesterday.
It's a huge void for them. But they had to overcome it yesterday and did. You know, if it happens late in the game or if it happens in a game they lead wire to wire in, I think it affects their confidence.
War with the block shot. Loose ball picked up by Gregg. Puts it up and in over a Quinn War. And Amin had to put it up high to get it over a Quinn War. Baseline drive. Kibbers puts it up but will not count. No basket.
So reach in way before that. But again, Mount Vernon Nazarene, you know, you win comfortably and you lose a star. You wonder how you're going to get through it. But basically, they played an entire game without Falkenberg. I mean, they didn't literally, but it pretty much was when you're down 20 and he's out for that entire stint and you're coming back to win. The Cougars have to be confident in that regard. But it's a tall order. It's definitely an obstacle they're going to have to overcome today.
He played 12 minutes and scored 12 points to give you an idea of his offensive presence. Inside, Hawkins puts it up no good. Seaschultz with the rebound. Outlet to Borchert for the layup.
Now what happened yesterday, Falkenberg single-handedly kept Mount Vernon in the Nazarene, in that game for the better part of the first half. Then he went down and the Cougars fell apart. Fell behind by 20 early second half and then rallied and pulled out a remarkable win.
A Quinn Ward jumper short, gets his own rebound back. Shovel pass on the baseline to Danny Hawkins. Top of the circle, Adam Hepker. Dribble drive in the paint, pump fake, shot up, blocked, gets it back, puts it up and scores.
There's very few better at this level than Adam Hepker at doing that, getting into the lane, getting a shot. A lot of times he'll draw contact. He usually goes to the line when he gets in there, but stayed with a blocked shot and still able to score.
We are tied at 19. That is the 6th tie here in the first half. 10:53 to go before halftime. What do you say we just skip halftime and keep on playing?
And they're going to need a break in about 10:45, I think. But these two teams scrapping for everything they got early on.
Mark Hess to Gregg. 3-ball up in the air, no good by Borchert. Rebound saved from going out of bounds by Cal Kibbers. Hepker between the leg dribble. Crossover on Francis. Dishes on the baseline. The leaner is short for Neller. Loose ball picked by Quinn War, who has it knocked out of bounds. In for the Pioneers, Brenton Bell back in for Rocky Lamar's ball club. 19-19 tied, 10:22 to go here in the first half at College of the Ozarks, the 2007 NAI Men's Division II National Tournament. Nice little floating jumper in the lane, up and in for Brenton Bell, who has 4 points. Hess out to Gregg for 3, no good. Somehow the Cougars got it back as McKinney just stripped it away from Kibbers, and now foul called just as soon as they got it across the timeline, a reaching in foul.
Hawkins got knocked down trying to get a pass up floor. That free throws, that's the 7th foul on the Cougars. Mid-America just whistled for 2 midway through the half.
And who was it called on?
I did not see who it was. He ran
I
past
thought he said
Hawkins
34, but I wasn't for sure. I'm going to go Connor Gregg.
Yeah, it would be his first.
Puts Hawkins at the free throw line for a 1-and-1. First one up and in. He is a 59% foul shooter. There is an advantage percentage-wise for Mount Vernon Nazarene. They are a 76% foul shooting team. Mid-American Nazarene just at 66%. Hawkins hits them both. He has 6.
66%, a little below average. It's not just awful, but it was last in the Heart of America Conference. League, the Pioneers dominated, really. You count the conference tournament, they won 22 out of 23 league games.
Goodness. Pretty tough in that league to go that consistent.
It is tough, especially on the road in that conference, and Pioneers, a dominant team in it. No team has gone unbeaten in that league in 5 years.
C. Schultz misses the long-range jumper. Rebound pulled away by the Pioneers. Brenton Bell across the timeline to Kibbers. Swinging on the left side to Brenton Bell. Down in the low post, Danny Hawkins. He backs in on Hess, puts it up, missed it. Rebound deflected over to Mark Hess. Numbers for the Cougars. Altican stops and pops from 3 and drains it. He has hit 3 threes here in the first half. He has 9 points. At the other end, Hawkins from point-blank range missed it. Held ball on the rebound.
That was Altican again, tying up Hawkins. Well, I tell you, very few players in this tournament have the pressure on them right now as Dustin Olkerton does. Coming in, having to replace Falkenberg, their fine point guard. Olkerton's got to give them a scoring boost. He averages about 5 or 6 a game, but they need more from him than that. He's got to match up with an All-American and MVP in Adam Hepner. And he's got to play smart. You know, he gets into foul trouble. The Cougars are in deep, deep trouble. He gets 2 or 3 fouls in the first half, and he has played so far a pretty brilliant 11 minutes.
The Pioneers were ranked #1 in the country for 3 consecutive weeks earlier this season before we said coming in now as the #2 seed here at College of the Ozarks. Adam Hepner, Ryan Rundberg, Jake Neller all passing the 1,000 career point total earlier this year. Ed, if Adam Hepner was the best player in the conference, who would be runner-up, do you think?
Oh, you look at the same team. Jacob Neller,
yeah,
who had a fantastic season, one of their leading scorers. Danny Hawkins, top 5 in scoring in the league and 2nd in rebounds. To show you the parity in the conference.
Hess drives, missed it. Rebound grab by Connor Gregg. And a pushing foul called underneath. Go ahead and finish.
And the tough part about getting through the heart of America unscathed, you have Mid-American Nazarene going 19-1. The next closest team was 14-6.
Goodness.
So they won the league race by a whopping 5 games, but everybody kind of beats up on each other in that league. And the Pioneers had a fantastic year to win 19-20 in the regular season, then the conference tournament.
Cougars shoot for the lead, down 1 with 8:25 to go in the first half. Hess trying to avoid getting tied up. And the Cougars get bailed out on the reaching in foul on the Pioneers. Ryan Rundberg's first personal.
Earlier, though, Kibbers picked up his 2nd. And that hurts Mid-American Nazarene. You have 3 big guys, though, that they start, so even though they're not that deep with height on the bench, they can still rotate around and be fine.
C. Schultz off the inbounds pass. Bank shot no good. Quinn War with a rebound. Down court to Jake Neller. Rundberg will leave it between the circles to Adam Hepner. Looks right, goes up top to Jake Neller. Top of the arc, Rundberg. Quinn War trying to post up on Connor Gregg. They get it down low to War, turnaround jumper, short off the front of the rim. C. Schultz with the rebound, outlet to Borchuk. Tries to fill it up from 3, no good. Tip attempt, no good. Connor Gregg came crashing in but couldn't put it down the well. A Quinn War, right block, layup, good. The lead back to 3 for the Pioneers. 4 has been their biggest lead of the first half. 6 ties, the last one coming at 19 all. Wonderful crowd on hand here at Point Lookout this afternoon. Low post, Mays playing with 2 personal, or rather Hess, the shot up no good. Hess got the position inside, but again couldn't finish. Nice catch by Neller on the high pass. Right side to Hepner, dribble drive in the paint. Scoop shot up, no good. Rebound off to the Cougars. Altican, cut off by Rundberg, back out on the wing to C. Schultz. Altican drives the lane, the shot up, no good. Danny Hawkins wipes the glass clean for the Pioneers.
Here they come.
Layup rejected by Schultz, who got way up in the air.
It's a 6'4" guy going way up to get a block.
Great hustle just to get back because it looked like it was going to be uncontested. Had a 2-on-2 break. Pretty pass, but again, not able to finish. Cougars can tie it with a 3. Borchert held and will. Cougars not yet in the bonus. That's just the 5th team foul on the Pioneers. Jake Neller's first personal foul. Steve Mays back in playing with 2 personal fouls. So Scott Fleming gambling that his 7-footer doesn't pick up a 3rd here in the last 6 minutes of the first half.
Again, with the shortened lineup, you got to take these type of gambles in tournament play. In the regular season, even in a big game, you might hold something back a little bit, but everybody's season's on the line now.
Cougar basketball down 3, exactly 6 minutes to go here in the first half. Dustin Aldigan, Andy Francis now in, the 6'1" sophomore from Sydney, Ohio. There's a turnover. Pioneers quickly the other way. Clark to a Quinn War for 2. Let's see, there is a basket, but will it count? It looks like a contact after the shot, perhaps. Wow, they are going to count the basket. War picks up the foul after the shot.
Now they said with the charge under the basket, War was way high in the air, got the finger roll to go in. Count the basket, but it's a charge. You go the other way.
First personal foul on a Quinn War, the 6'7" senior from Des Moines, Iowa, who can just flat jump out of the gym. 5-point lead, biggest of the afternoon for the Pioneers. Their crowd making noise behind their team bench. Schultz to the block. Foul line, Francis. Cut off by a Quinn War. Dribble drive by Bircher. Forces the pass to Mays. It is stolen by the Pioneers. Kibbers quickly in front court. Left side, Adam Hepker. When will he start to light it up? Hepker just 2 points here in the first half. Had 17 in the victory over Trinity International, averaging 17 per game. We've said several times the conference player of the year. In the low post, nice move Hawkins. Shot up over Mays, no good. The defensive rebound to the Cougars. Schultz coast to coast, shot blocked by a Quinn War, who slapped it off the backboard. And then on the ensuing scramble, Matt Clark tied up on the play, and the possession arrow will favor Mid-America. Holy cow.
He came out of nowhere, didn't he? I saw him come flying in, but he soared. I don't know where he took off from, but he got to the backboard fast.
I think he took off from Hollister. Goodness gracious.
Maybe on the other side of the lake.
Might have been. Still a 5-point lead for the Pioneers and possession of the rock. 4:35 to go in the first half. Hawkins inside. Shot up, no good, but he is fouled.
Quick little move around Mays. Somehow just slid past him going left. Gets himself to the line. And that's number 3 on their 7-footer.
He came in with 6 minutes to go. It took him a minute and a half to pick up his 3rd personal foul. Scott Fleming not happy with the call. Hawkins free throw good. He has 7 here in the first half. So Mark Hess in for Steve Mays, who sits down with 3 personal fouls and 4:32 to go in the first half of play. Hawkins, a 59% foul shooter, has that one spin out. A Quinn War with an offensive rebound.
We're going to say that's over the back. Walk all the way to the other end for free throws.
Second personal on War. Both teams in the bonus. Scott Fleming, 17 years as the head coach at Mount Vernon Nazarene, 351 wins, 208 losses, 25-6 this year, 15-3 in the American Mid-East Conference. Cougars at the foul line, fun into 1-1, no good for Schultz, just a 58% free throw shooter.
We
have seen teams struggle from the free throw line in this tournament, and it has cost them. Zone defense by the Cougars. 2-3 zone. Mid-America trying to adjust offensively. Hepker penetrates, shoots, and scores. He has 4 points, averaging 17, and the biggest lead of the afternoon for the Pioneers now is 8, 30-22. Under 4 minutes to play in the first half here at Keeter Gym. Schultz out on the wing to Bircher. Wanted to shoot him, there was just no way to open. The runner with the right hand, good for Dan Bircher.
Nice move by him. See Ward affect another shot because Schultz normally could make a move and get a shot away with that little roll move, but knowing that Ward was back there, wisely passed it out. We still get 2.
Layup up and in from the left side. That's Adam Hepker.
Pretty backdoor cut. And a good pass for Hawkins, their big guy.
Cass backs in, turnaround jumper over Hawkins is an air ball. Rebound saved by the Cougars, but the ensuing pass stolen by Hepker. Well, he is just a pest defensively. 3-ball, right pocket, good! Jake Miller buries the triple.
I think that's their first 3-point goal coming into big time.
And the team leader in threes, Neller buries his 65th tray of the year. 33-24. They get it, or 37-24.
They keep changing it. You got 35-24 up there now.
Okay, that's correct. The lead to 11. 2:36 to go in the half.
And Miller 3 with a hand in his face too.
Another turnover by the Cougars. Outlet to Neller. If he can catch up to it, he can. Leaves it inside for Bell. Shot good.
They run the floor so well, and there's it exhibited right there. A turnover, but really, you turn a 2-on-1 break into a 3-on-1 break because they fill the lanes and run so well and able to convert. It really forces you, if you're on offense, you got to get 2 or 3 guys back. It hurts your rebounding capability because you're so worried about stopping their break. But you see it exhibited there, and if they get a steal, you're just about dead the way they run the floor.
Their eyes just light up when they get a steal. I mean, it's like all of a sudden they turn into a track team that happens to have a basketball in their hands.
They are amazing. They're a very well-conditioned team. Again, they only really play about 8 guys, and really only about 6 major, the 6 of them get, maybe 7 get major minutes.
It is a 14-2 run for the Pioneers. The Cougars got to within a point on a 3-point basket, 23-22. But a 14-2 run later, it is a 13-point lead for the Pioneers.
This is the Mid-America Nazarene team I know. The one yesterday was not operating at this gear at all.
Boy, do the Cougars miss Ben Falkenberg now. Is it a 3 or 2? It is going to be called a 3-point basket for Bircher. Just waiting to see the officials' hands go up, and they were kind of slow in signaling the 3. Fadeaway jumper by Hawkins, no good. Nice block out inside by Schultz for the rebound, but his outlet pass poked out of bounds. They'll keep it in front court. Matt Clark back in from Mid-America.
Cougars hanging in there pretty well, but you just, the way Mid-America plays, the way they run the floor, they can get points so fast. I mean, you go from being just about even to all of a sudden down double digits just in a mere moment or two. Well, you get on the roll, and the Pioneers can answer it very quickly.
Double-digit,
just need to keep scrapping.
Double-digit lead for the Pioneers. Cougars try and claw back with 90 seconds to go in the half. Whistle, block, and foul. Good call by Jeff Campbell right in front of us.
And they kind of got tangled up. Frustrating if you're the defensive player there because you feel like you got run over, but their feet got tangled up, and you have to call the foul on the defender there as they both go to the floor. Because basically the defensive player gains an advantage as the guy trying to get around you loses or is about to lose possession, either getting tripped and bumped.
Brenton Bell back in from Mid-America Nazarene. Dan Borchert at the free throw line, shooting a 1-and-1. Team fouls even at 8 apiece. First one good. He has 8 here in the first half. Had 15 in the victory over Dakota Wesleyan. And the deficit now at 8. Dan Borchert hits them both. He has 9. 37-29, an 8-point lead in possession of the basketball for the Pioneers. Minute 20 to go in the first half here at Keeter Gym. At the foul line, a pass from Hepker goes out of bounds. Brenton Bell cut the other way at the last second. Back in for Mid-America, Jake Neller, the 6'5 senior from Gardner, Kansas. He'll replace Brenton Bell.
A little open door now for the Cougars. They're pulled to within 8. Just 1:15 left in the half, and they have the arrow. Could have possession to start the second half with a chance to get back in this game after being down 11.
Right wing, Borchert. Guarded by Jake Neller, man-to-man defense by the Pioneers. 18 fouls apiece, both clubs in the 1-and-1. Although not many free throws have been shot. The Cougars 3 for 5, the Pioneers 4 for 6. 3 ball by Borchert, too strong. Rebound deflected over to Adam Hepker. Bobby Besant, the official, almost taken out on the play. From New Orleans, but was displaced by the Hurricane, now lives in Houston, Texas. Neller inside to Hawkins. His shot blocked by Gregg. Loose ball on the floor, picked up by Hawkins. What do we have?
A foul on Nazarene. Hawkins pinned too far underneath. Had to jump back and dish off. And they wound up getting bumped. That's 3 fouls on Connor Gregg.
So he and teammate Steve Mays, 3 fouls apiece. Brenton Bell back in for Mid-America Nazarene, replacing Adam Hepker. And back in for the Cougars, Mark Hess, replacing Connor Gregg, who has to sit down with the 3 personal fouls. Hawkins at the line for Mid-America. Hits the first, he has 8. Ben Swinger in for Mid-America.
Don't see him much, but they don't want Cal Kippers to get his 3rd foul before the end of the half, so they make that switch.
Hawkins hits them both. He has 9. 39-29. Pioneers lead the Cougars. 15 seconds to go in the first half. Coming off a screen, Altigan. Nice ball fake, no shot. Pass with 5 seconds. Pull-up jumper from the wing, bounces out. Buzzer sounds, and the teams will head to the locker rooms at the intermission break with our score. Mid-America 39, Mount Vernon Nazarene 29. We will recap the first half scoring and let everyone catch their breath. For Mid-America Nazarene in the first half, they were led by Danny Hawkins with 9 points, a Quinn War with 8, 7 points. Left to right, dressed in the white jerseys, the Pioneers from Mid-America Nazarene out of Olathe, Kansas, moving from right to left, wearing the road red. High post Steve Mays, he's back in playing with 3 personal fouls. Mark Hess, Altigan, Borchert, C. Schultz round out the starting 5. Pass in the low post intended for Hess, and it's picked off by the Pioneers. Hepker off to Neller, but the jump shot up and in.
Smart play. Could have tried a 21-footer. Went for the higher percentage shot from about 17 feet. Took a couple of steps in and drilled it. I don't need a 3-pointer now. Just need to basket, need to put together a 6 or 8 point run, stretch out the lead.
The lead a dozen for Mid-America Nazarene. Borchert off to Mark Hess. Left wing beyond 3, C. Schultz. Back on the baseline to Hess. The drive and a foul on the baseline. Referee Bobby Besant with the call.
Other numbers in that first half. Mid-America Nazarene with a 21-16 rebounding advantage. 6 assists already at the half for Hepker for the Pioneers. 4 blocks for War.
First free throw good for Mark Hess, 68% foul shooter on the season, now with 5 this afternoon.
Leading rebounder in the game, Ryan Seaschultz with 6. They want to get him going from the floor, Mike. He's 0 for 6 from the floor thus far in 1 point. He is capable of lighting it up. They will look for him, I'm sure, at some point to get an offensive boost.
The lead back to 10 for the Pioneers. They led at halftime, 39-29, so both teams a couple of points apiece in the first 90 seconds of the second half. Both bodies hit the floor.
On Kibbers, I think it is.
His third. Team foul number 2 on the Pioneers here in the second half.
He's cutting through the lane and ran over somebody.
The winner gets Indiana Wesleyan tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Again, if you missed our pregame show, the 3 games being played so far today, there have been 3 upsets. Unseeded Cornerstone, Michigan defeating the 8-seed Walsh, Ohio, 78-56. The middle game, a huge upset. Number 16, Northwest of Washington defeats the number 1 seed Bellevue out of Nebraska, 61-56. And I told you Indiana Wesleyan, the 10 seed, beating 7 seed Oregon Tech. Nice move inside.
That was Hess again.
He has 8, 4 in each half. Shot up no good. Hawkins with an offensive rebound, spins in the lane, puts it up no good. Rebound to Hess, a 2-on none break. Layup is no good. A hard foul by Adam Hepker. Wanted to make sure the layup wasn't going to go in by Dan Borchert.
Won't be an intentional foul. Mount Vernon Nazarene will lobby for that. Scott Fleming wants to discuss it.
Borchert, an 89% foul shooter. Looks good on the first. He's in double figures with 10, had 15 in the victory against Dakota Wesleyan. He averages 12 per game, the sophomore from Archbold, Ohio. And again, nothing but net. 35-41. Well, a 6-0 run after Mid-America scored the first 2 points of the second half to go up 41-29. Back in it if they can make another stop. Top of the circle, Neller at the elbow. Great dish inside, reverse layup, good for Kibbers.
There's a smart play in Neller again. Had a shot himself, passed it up for the better one. And a great look.
Leaner for Seaschultz, no good, but an offensive rebound put back up and in by Steve Mays. The 7-footer, those long arms from Edgewood, Kentucky, has 6.
Got to be tough because you're playing with 3 fouls and you have to stay aggressive. That means potentially committing a foul down low.
Kibbers puts it up, missed it. Mays almost grabbed it off the rim for the rebound. A little more spring in the step for Mount Vernon Nazarene. Halftime might have been a good thing for the Cougars.
Again, you know, you're down 10 and you gave up a pretty big run toward the end of the half, but you have to feel pretty good about being in this game. And again, they got a couple of baskets to now be in a position to threaten.
Hess backs in on Hawkins, no shot. Mays was open, pass deflected and stolen by Kibbers. Adam Hepker almost lost it. Flips it to Kibbers, who gives it right back to Hepker. There's a name we have not called in a while. Quinn War, left side Kibbers, low post Hawkins. What a battle that is. He muscles up on Hess, puts it up no good. Offensive rebound put up and in. That looked like Jake Neller.
It was. He just wormed his way in there, put an offensive board. The senior leader coming up big here in the second half.
The lead back to 8 for the Pioneers. Mount Vernon cut it to 6 after being down by 12. 3-point shot, good. Dustin Aldikin has hit 4 threes. He has 12 points. You do the math. Every basket has been a 3-pointer. Shot blocked by Mays. Hawkins took it right at him. Mays responded with a rejection. And now the Cougars can cut it to 3 or 2, down 5. We've played just over 4 minutes here in the second half. Aldikin, stop and go move. Bounce pass off the dribble to Hess. Backs in on Hawkins. Now the double team helped by a Quinn War. Ball knocked out of bounds. Cougars will keep it.
The minutes by Mays, but he comes out. Connor Gregg, that's 3 fouls himself, comes in now.
Kibbers and Hepker out for Mid-America Nazarene.
And always make a little note when Hepker goes out of the game. That's such a high motor, but he doesn't stay out for long.
Aldican, fadeaway jumper, no good. Quinn Moore with the rebound, outlet to Runberg. Hawkins inside to Neller, shot up no good. They're working on the finger of Adam Hepker. You were talking about that, may have dislocated a finger, and it looks like maybe they're just kind of popping it back into place or something at the end of the bench.
Yeah, they're looking at his left pinky finger, or a finger on his left hand. I think it's his pinky. And the trainer has that. They're kind of flexing that and working on it.
Baseline hook, no good by Hess. Rebound for the Pioneers. Up by 5, 14:47 to go. Hawkins inside for 2. Timeout, Mount Vernon Nazarene.
I'll tell you, the Pioneers did not get points until this now, running the break. But they've beaten the Cougars down the floor now 3 or 4 times in a row. And Scott Fleming calling a timeout to put a stop to that. And that time they were able to convert inside. But there again, they're running the floor, and you've got to stop the Pioneers in transition to have a chance.
Ed, you just have to love the energy in this building for an early afternoon game now, about 2:45 Central Time here in the Ozarks. But this building has just been electric today.
It has, all really throughout the day, because that first matchup of the morning was a good one. And that's one of the things that's special about this tournament, I think. You've got good teams, a good level of play. And there's some great tournament basketball with some great players, great coaches, some good programs. And this matchup here with 2 pretty good fan bases. Traveled a long way from Ohio to get here, but Olathe only about 3 hours away. But they bring a lot of people to about every game, including around the conference. I mean, they are not unfamiliar with this area, not just because of Point Lookout of the national tournament, but they fill the visiting section at Evangel and Springfield, about 30 miles north of here, pretty well also every time they come to town.
Cougar basketball coming out of the timeout, down by 7, 14:28 to play. Coming off the screen, Francis being guarded by a Quinn Moore. He'll reset the offense. Shot clock now at 11. Coming off the screen, Borchert kicks it on the baseline. Seaschultz drives in and is fouled. Danny Hawkins, 3rd personal.
Seaschultz just barreled his way into the lane. Strong 6'4".
Seaschultz gets the free throw. He has just 2 points, averaging 11, had 17 in the victory against Dakota Wesleyan. The Cougars staying in this game by hitting their free throws now, 8 for 10. Mid-America 6 out of 8, 2nd free throw good.
Hepker back in. Nothing got taped or bandaged up. Whatever it was with his left hand, it wasn't overly serious, at least enough to get anything patched up, so he's in there now.
Hawkins, right side, Hepker, under the basket, shot up and in. He got from the foul line to point-blank range in just a blink of an eye.
And that was with a little hesitation move, too.
Borchert, lob pass, poked away, but recovered by the Cougars. Back out on top to Dan Borchert. Left wing, Andy Francis coming off a screen. Altican for 3. He missed. A rare miss from 3-point range for the junior. Well, knocked out of bounds. Cougars tried to save it. A nice diving attempt by Andy Francis, showing great hustle. Quinn Moore checking out. He had that spurt in the first half where he did almost everything right, scored 8 points. Haven't heard a lot from him since.
4 blocks, those maybe have come relatively early as well. But he is kind of an X factor and one of the X factors in the whole tournament. He's a game-changing type of player, really at either end, but particularly on the defensive side.
Pass from Hepker out of bounds. He had turned his back to the basket and then was hoping for a teammate in front of their bench. Instead, turns it over.
Instead, it went to their bench. Yeah. And the splash there is Ward with a cup of water. Had the ball nail it.
What are the odds?
It's not the cup they were looking for.
No. 7 minutes having been played in the second half. 49-42. Mid-America leading Mount Vernon Nazarene by the 7-point margin. Lob and the dunk. Pretty pass to Connor Gregg for the flush.
That'll get some energy going for the folks from Ohio.
Neller on the baseline to Adam Hepker. Dribble penetrates, puts it up, missed it, but draws a foul.
Olkinson kind of threw his hands up in dismay. You've got to give Hepker about 2 or 3 steps. I think Olkinson frustrated in the foul call, but Hepker draws that all day. He gets to the line about a gajillion times. He just has a knack for being able to dribble, penetrate, and then draw fouls. You really not only have to give him some steps, but when he drives, you still have to back off a little because he'll jump into you and get to the line.
Second free throw is good, so he goes 1 out of 2. He has 9 points. I was looking at his free throw numbers, and you're right, he has more attempts than anybody else on the team.
Well, last year it was like double the attempts of anybody else on his team, or in the whole Heart of America conference for that matter.
That's a guy, if he's on your team, you love him. If he's on the opposite team, you despise him.
There he is again.
Cougars chase down the loose ball. Schultz to the block. Nice rejection by Kibbers. Loose ball picked up by the Cougars. 3-point shot, no good. Never hit the shot clock, doesn't matter. Pioneers have the basketball. Hepker bounce pass, Neller for 2.
Great pass. A beautiful setup. There's Hepker, another assist. It's about his 8th.
Speaking of 8, an 8-point lead for the Pioneers. 52-44, under 12 minutes to play in the game. Andy Francis been held in check. No points for the sophomore from Sydney, Ohio. The leaner for Schultz, no good, and a foul on the rebound.
And a frustration foul, too. Didn't want to do that. But he was off balance on the shot, kind of an awkward release. Tried to get the ball back to try to make something positive out of that possession, and instead commits the foul.
First personal on Ryan Schultz. Second team foul on the Cougars. There are 4 team fouls on the Pioneers.
Here's Schultz and Mount Vernon Nazarene. Have to shake that off. You're still just down 8. Very much alive. Just get a stop or 2 and get this thing tightened up.
Hepker with the basketball, closely guarded by Dustin Aldigan. Neller right back to Adam Hepker. Shot clock inside 10. Hepker, spin move in the lane. Kibbers grabs the loose ball. Quinn War has it knocked out of bounds, and boy, Pioneers bailed out by the Cougars knocking it out of bounds. The shot clock will be at 2 when they inbound the ball.
Great effort by Mount Vernon Nazarene to the defensive end. Didn't give anybody breathing room. Got out in the passing lanes. And now give Mid-America a chance for an inbound and a shot. And they want to talk about it first.
30-second timeout taken by Rocky Lamar. You wouldn't think it's that big of a possession, Ed. It's an 8-point lead, but he really wants to set up a play to try to do something before the shot clock expires. You've got 2 seconds to get it inbounds and shoot it. Catch and release.
I don't believe that they burned a timeout in the first half. So you got 6 to use. Might as well get your team organized, get what you want to do here, and try to salvage a possession. National tournament play. Every possession becomes important and key. You don't want to waste any of them. And we'll see what he draws up there. You got a lot of options. Inbounding from the sideline, what, about 20 feet up, no, not even 20 feet up floor, maybe about 18 feet up floor. You can lob to the basket, but you really have time here to get somebody off of a screen and get a jump shot away with 2 seconds.
Cougars will trigger the inbounds. They lob for a Quinn War, and a pushing foul called by Jeff Campbell.
Wow. Didn't see that necessarily, wasn't looking there. I was watching how high up War would go. But Scott Fleming out a ways, hands on his hips. As there is the bailout right there.
Second personal foul on Marquez. Fresh 35 on the shot clock for the Pioneers. Hepker penetrates, shoots, and scores.
Looked like Mount Vernon had that defended on that inbound so well, but there's the foul that resets, and then Hepker scores anyway.
In double figures with 11. One of 3 Pioneers now in double digits. Kicked ball by Kibbers. Cougars will keep it in front court with 10:36 to play. 54-44. The lead is 10 for the number 2 seed. Number 1 losing 2 games ago. Bellevue, Nebraska out of the tournament.
Again, you got 1 gone, 3 gone, 4 gone. So you want something wiped up under the basket at the other end. I think they were pointing out a little subtle way too. Hepker, the shooter, had fallen down on that, or got knocked down on that last shot. And Rocky Lamar will give it a close inspection.
You don't think he's saying anything?
Coaches the mop up.
He didn't want to take an advantage of that to say anything to the official while he was out there wiping up the floor. You know, get a little word or 2 in.
Having a little bit of fun with this, though, which is great to see here. The national tournament game, you got tensions running high for either side with so much at stake for your season. So good to see some smiles from officials and coaches, which are normally combatants oftentimes during the course of a game. But some fun to be had here in the Pioneers sideline. Pretty much cleaning up the entire lane.
Well, the way Hepker went crashing down the floor, he might have covered up the whole lane.
He might have.
10:36 to go, 10-point lead for the Pioneers. 54-34, Cougars with possession of the basketball. Borchert out to Dustin Aldikin, guarded by Adam Hepker. Man-to-man defense by the Pioneers. Hess playing with a couple of personal fouls. Drives in on Hawkins, score and draws the foul. 4th personal foul on Danny Hawkins. 3-point possibility for the Cougars.
That's big with 4 fouls now coming at 10:19 of the half. Hawkins was Mid-American Nazarene's probably their most important player in round 1, 20 points. And one of their leading rebounders in that round 1 win over Trinity.
And the free throw good for Hess, who has 11 points. 54-47. Thanks to the 3-point play, the 10-point lead down to 7. Halfway through the second half. Kibbers, left wing Runberg into a Quinn War, goes up high, scores and draws the foul. It bounced up off the back of the rim, went straight up and right back down the well.
He has turned into a nice offensive player in his 4-year career. Brought in a lot of athleticism and game-changing type of defensive skills with his shot blocking ability and leaping ability. But he is an offensive threat now, averaging around 10 a game. Showed nice touch on the turnaround shot and completing a 3-point play there.
He is just a 46% free throw shooter, but looked great on that free throw. Perfect spin on the basketball and nothing but net. So the team's trading 3-point possessions, if you will. Here's a 3-ball up and in for Andy Francis, his first points of the afternoon.
He needed that, answered the Mid-America 3, back to a 7-point game.
With 9.5 minutes to play. The winner gets Indiana Wesleyan tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock in the quarterfinals. Low post, Runberg puts it up, missed it. Hess with a defensive rebound. Aldigan's stop-and-go move. Shot over War is no good. Tip attempt no good. Hess almost with basket interference or offensive goaltending. Hepker misses the shot, but a foul called underneath.
I don't think he was going to shoot it. He, I think, intended to pass it to Neller, but got around a defender, and then when he got contact from behind, just flung the ball at the basket and gets 2 free throws. Again, that's classic Hepker, the many reasons why he's the league MVP out of the Heart of America Conference. He's saying he's shooting, but no one's acting like it's 2 free throws, except Hepker is saying, shouldn't I be shooting here? The official's not buying that was a shot attempt.
Second personal foul on Dan Borchert. Hess out now with 3 personal fouls. Pioneers inbound with a 7-point lead and 9:10 to play. Left baseline Kibbers, low post War. Jumper over the 7-footer Mays, no good, but Mays got him with the offhand.
Good post up by Quinn War. And that's part of adding to your offensive skills, not just the good shooting touch, but he got open on the block. Got open on the block, caught it, and made something happen. Draws the 4th foul of their 7-footer.
So decision time for Scott Fleming if he leaves Mays in. Free throw, no good. Mays will come out. Mark Hess back in. The 7-footer Steve Mays with only 2 points in their victory over Dakota Wesleyan yesterday, 73-72. Looked at the box score and kind of shook my head. Second free throw, no good, missed them both. And that time he looked like a 46% free throw shooter. Under 9 minutes to play, 7-point lead for Mid-America. Pioneers from Olathe, Kansas. C. Schultz, Francis, who just hit a 3, penetrates to the lane. Drawing contact and a foul called. Cal Kibbers, 4th personal foul.
That becomes a concern now for Mid-America Nazarene. You can have Kibbers, Hawkins, or War. One of the 3 can be in foul trouble and you're fine, but 2 out of 3, you start to bite the fingernails a little bit if you're a Pioneer.
Free throw good for Francis, 64% foul shooter on the season. Runberg back in, and Neller back in for the Pioneers. Kibbers to the bench, along with Matt Clark. Free throw, no good. Nice rebound by a Quinn Ward. 2-possession game. The Pioneers up by 6, 57-51, and possession of the basketball. Neller, Runberg at the high post. On the wing, it's Hepker. What's he going to do with the basketball? Drives in on Aldigan. Dishes to Bell. Jumper up, no good. Cougars pick up the basketball. They've got Borchert open. Olden keeps it all the way. Shot rejected by War.
Wow.
That one you could kind of see coming. Bell. Look out, one of the players hits the floor. Shot up, no good as Naylor left it short. Pushing foul called, and I think it was the correct call. It's just the fact that it came a little late.
Yeah, and the fact that there wasn't that much contact, but enough to have the player go sprawling on the floor. What are you going to do, call a travel? That's tough to sell to the Mount Vernon Nazarene bench with that much of a bump. So you've got to call the foul. It does put them at the foul line. And now is War's 3rd foul. And now you got increasing foul trouble with the Pioneers' inside players as Hess goes to the line. Mount Vernon Nazarene wanted to goaltend at the other end on War. I thought that was a fantastic block. I guess officials did too. They didn't call it. But that thing was right at the very height, or almost at the very height of that arcing shot. He did get that high up off the floor to block that. If you haven't seen him play before, sometimes you get him that high up to block a shot and you just naturally think that has to be a goaltend because you're not used to seeing a guy get up that high to block. Although for the Cougars, they do have Steve Mays, who's a superb shot blocker in his own right. But Ward flew up for that one. He had 4 blocks at halftime. That's got to be at least 5 or 6 now.
Let's have the game reset. Under 8 minutes to play in the contest. Mid-America Nazarene leading Mount Vernon Nazarene 57-51. Mike McClure along with Ed Beach. We are live at Keeter Gym at College of the Ozarks in Point Lookout, Missouri, just outside Branson. The 2007 NAI Men's Division II National Basketball Tournament. Second round, we started with 32 teams on Wednesday. We were down to 16 at the start of today. We'll lose 8 more after tonight's competition, and the quarterfinals will get underway tomorrow afternoon at 1. Semifinals Monday night at 6 and 8 Central Time, and the national championship game will be on Tuesday night with an 8:30 tip. Mark Hess at the free throw line for the Cougars. Free throw good. He has a dozen. If he hits this, this will be as close as they have been since late in the first half. Free throw good. Hess with 13. And it is a 4-point lead for Mid-America Nazarene. 57-53 with 7:50 to play. Foul difficulty for both teams. The 7-footer Steve Mays on the bench with 4 personals for the Cougars. Cal Kibbers has 4 fouls for the Pioneers. The runner short by Neller. Gets his own rebound back. Bell back to Neller. Baseline jumper off the mark. A Quinn Roar over the back of Mark Hess will pick up the foul, and that's his 4th.
Now they're in trouble. 7:31 to go, a lot of time. Cal Kibbers is at the scores table waiting to come in. They're going to need smart play from their inside guys now.
Kibbers checking in with 4 fouls. Well, they're going to leave War in the game. Kibbers checking in for Ryan Runberg.
Yeah, he was there waiting to come in anyway.
1-on-1 opportunity for Mark Hess.
So now you have 2 guys on the floor with 4 each.
Cougars 13 for 16 from the foul line. Make it 13 of 17. They missed the front end of 1-on-1. That's big. Outlet to Neller. Layup. Missed it. Unbelievable. Here come the Cougars the other way. Francis thought about the 3, but he was well beyond the 3-point arc. Nice move inside for Mark Hess for 2. The lead is 2.
Great post move to spin around the defender. That's a smart, heady player, a senior. You can see why he's an all-conference, honorable mention, All-American pick a year ago.
A lot of confidence for the youngsters from Mount Vernon, Ohio. Under 7 minutes to go. Mid-America leading Mount Vernon Nazarene 57-55. Mid-America with the basketball, the shot clock down to 6. Hepker spins in the lane, forces it up, and scores. Are you kidding me?
He can get there about any time he wants. And got his step, spun to his right, and hanging jumper in the paint.
That's the biggest basket of the game to this point. It was a 1-possession game, back to a 2-possession game thanks to the bucket by Hepker. 3 ball by Francis, no good, but he is fouled and will shoot 3 if he was in the act of shooting. Now let's see if it was this or if it was after the shot. It was during the shot. He will get 3 free throws.
Yep, that's a good call. Brenton Bell leaped, trying to affect the shot, and just crashed into him.
Brenton Bell's first. Andy Francis, 64% foul shooter, shooting the first of 3. It's up and in. (59-56). 6:22 to play in the game. Second one good. He has half a dozen. Here comes Danny Hawkins back in. He also has 4 personal fouls. Hawkins, Kibbers, a Quinn War. 3 of the 5 starters with 4 fouls for the Pioneers. Let's see if Francis can hit the trifecta. Nope, he knew it from the minute it left his hand. Missed it to the right side. So again, a 2-point lead, 59-57. Pioneers lead the Cougars with 6:14 to go. A collision as Borchard hits the floor. He may be the guilty party. He is. That's his 3rd. Both teams in the 1-and-1. Matt Clark in. Hepker out. Again, we'll see how long he stays on the bench. Probably not a long stay.
Neller just went out literally for a drink of water. He's waiting to come back in. Literally was out for one trip down the floor, but waiting to check back in the game for the Pioneers.
It is a warm, humid afternoon in southwest Missouri. We've had a lot of rain. We've had rain for most of the day, and it is warm in this gym. You've got to stay hydrated. 1-1, first one good. Brenton Bell, an 83% foul shooter, the best on the team for the Pioneers, hits the first of two. The lead pushed up to 3. This for a 4-point lead. It's up. Good.
Now, for a team that struggled from the foul line in 06-07, they had the right guy at the line at the right time.
Coming into the tournament, he was 19 for 23, 83% from the foul line. Hits them both there, and again pushes the lead to 4, back to a 2-possession game. Under 6 minutes to go. Top of the arc, Francis. Ball fake, drives the left lane. Pump fake, doesn't pull the trigger. Gives it back to Aldigan. Wide open on the baseline. Jump shot for 3 is buried. Ryan Seaholtz with 6.
First field goal of the game right there. And that's what we talked about. They needed to get him going. And there's that 3 ball we talked about. He came through with him yesterday. They just got his team to within 1.
Neller guarded by Borchert. Boy, what a big possession for the Pioneers. Cougars desperately trying for a stop. Neller from 14 bounces in. So the Pioneers again answer the Cougar threat. Between the leg dribble, Aldigan guarded by Matt Clark. Maybe a quickness advantage for Aldigan. Let's see if he tries to take Clark to school. They clear out. He picks up his dribble. Hess gives it, doesn't give it right back to him. Fires a pass on the wing. Francis for 3, short. Rebound Neller, and here come the Pioneers. Clark in transition. Off to Kibbers, shot up, no good. Offensive rebound by Neller, but he stepped on the inline when he had it.
Hepker back in there, a brief little break for him.
Ed, you were right. I mean, when he checks out, it's 30 seconds might be a lot.
Yeah. I mean, you see the minutes he logs, and sometimes you're surprised that he ever comes out of the game. But he'll come out maybe 3 or 4 times, but it's for no more than a minute. He'll still log 36, 38 minutes a game.
Goodness, night in and night out. It's over a 30-game-plus season. They can tie it with a 3. Aldigan, short. A Quinn War with 4 personal fouls grabs the rebound. That's a big miss. A Quinn War in the paint. Back out to Kibbers. On the baseline, Hawkins. He's playing with 4 personal fouls. Backs in. Puts it up. Missed it, but draws a foul. Good job offensively by Danny Hawkins, the 6'6" sophomore from Platte City, Missouri.
Cal Kibber is number 13. You see the knee brace on him. He went down with an injury last year, and Hawkins, as a freshman, wound up becoming a much more prominent member of that team. And you could see his improvement throughout last season. And by the end of his freshman year, he was a very good player. He has set himself up to have a terrific career for the Pioneers. He's had a fantastic sophomore year.
Hawkins airballed the first one. The second one barely hit the front of the rim. 59% foul shooter, missed them both. New life for the Cougars. Again, they can tie it with a 3. Under 4 minutes to play in the basketball game. In the middle of the lane jumper, good from Marquez.
Went right at Hawkins, too.
Yeah. 17 points, was held to 4 in the victory over Dakota Wesleyan yesterday, 73-72. He has responded big this afternoon. Can the Pioneers answer? They've been able to every time Mount Vernon's gotten back to within 1. They've been able to answer back. The runner for Hepker, no good. Offensive rebound of Quinn War. It spins out and he draws a foul. That could have been a 3-point possibility, but it spun out.
And it hurts for the Pioneers, too, because you got a guy that's under 50% from the line. You want him to get the 2 and then have a chance at the 3, rather than have him at the line trying to earn them from the foul stripe. But Boys made a handful today, needing these in a one-point game.
There are 3 players from each team now playing with 4 personal fouls, and we still have 3:25 to go. A Quinn War, no good on the first.
Trying to think about Mount Vernon Nazarene in their game yesterday. I don't believe they ever led until about 4 or 5 seconds left. And almost in the same situation here today from early on till now.
They've missed 4 free throws in a row, but Kibbers bails them out with the offensive rebound and put-back basket.
I think it was a pioneer on the right side of the lane, and I thought maybe Hepker that tipped it across the paint to Kibbers for the 2.
Francis, left baseline, Seasoltz for 3, ties it at 65.
What a clutch shot. That was well guarded, and he drilled it from the corner.
First tie since we were deadlocked at 19. 7th tie of the afternoon. Adam Hepker right in front of our broadcast location, resetting the half-court offense, now over in front of his team's bench. 2:39 to play, deadlocked at 65. Could we have our 4th upset in a row here in round number 2? A turnover, the steal by Seasoltz. 2 on 3 the other way. Dustin Uldican will wait for the other white jerseys to get down court. They will shoot for their first lead in a long, long time. Uldican, stop and go move on the baseline. Bounce pass low post Hess. War has to be careful. He's got 4 personals. The shot up no good. Scramble for the rebound. The players go diving out of bounds. Basketball will go to Mid-America.
That's desperation tournament play right there. 4 bodies crashing to the corner trying to get possession. No one really did. It was just out on Mount Vernon.
If the Cougars had scored there, it would have been their first lead since they led 19-17 in the first half. They were down by as many as a dozen as Mid-America scored the first 2 points of the second half after having a 10-point halftime lead at 39-29.
Right with the floor at either end, so both teams get a chance to get a little breather here. I believe both teams have a bunch of timeouts still remaining.
16 or 17 anyway. We might be here. It's 2:03 on the clock. 2 minutes and 3 seconds. 3:17 on the actual clock above the court. Central Time. Under 2 minutes to go, tied at 65. Mid-America basketball. Hepker to the rack, scores and draws the foul.
Wow. That was a spectacular move. I'm not sure he could even see where the hoop was when he made a move to his right. But a great job of putting the ball in the perfect spot on the square of the glass to get that and one.
Andy Francis picks up the personal foul, his first. Hepker with a chance to complete the 3-point play. Mid-America this afternoon just 10 of 18 from the free throw line. Mount Vernon 14 for 20. The outer official counting bodies on the floor, making sure there's just 10 players. It seems like there's more out there right now. Free throw, no good. Rebound grabbed by the Cougars. Down 2 with 1:48 to play. A Quinn War pokes it away from behind, and the steal by the Pioneers. War snuck up on Uldican and knocked it away.
You don't expect a 6'7" guy to do that. He played the Wolf perfectly.
Cougars need a stop. 90 seconds to go in the game. Pioneers up by a basket. Hepker in the lane, dump pass inside, layup good for Hawkins. What a pass from Hepker.
A sensational dish to get the lead to 4.
And did you see the fist pump from Mid-America head coach Rocky Lamar?
That was just a very big sequence. Hepker with 2 spectacular plays. One to get a basket, getting knocked to the floor, and then the terrific Feed to Hawkins inside for a layup.
So the Cougars with some work to do here in the last minute and 20 seconds. And they had tied it at 65 on the three-point basket by Andy for Seaschultz. Francis has hit a three. Seaschultz has hit 2 threes here in the second half. Dustin Aldikin has hit another 3. He's hit 4 in the game. And they need a 3 to get back to within 1 now, down by 4 and 80 seconds to play here in round 2 of this great matchup between Mount Vernon Nazarene, the 15 seed, and Mid-America Nazarene, the 2 seed.
Oh, the Pioneers with momentum, and they got their crowd going. But Mount Vernon Nazarene, you're down 4, and there's a lot of time left, 1:20 on the clock. So you still have time to maybe get the ball inside. See if you can draw a 5th foul on somebody. See if you can get an easy basket. And the way they shoot threes as well, don't count them out.
Aldigan will bring it across the timeline. Man-to-man defense by the Pioneers. Left side, Borchert for 3. In and out. Tip attempt, no good. Rebound grabbed inside by Hess, and he is fouled.
This may be number 5 on somebody.
Jake Neller, just his second. Ed, you had to hold your breath just to see
Right.
who the guilty party was going to be.
He had 5 red jerseys crashing into Hess. You just wondered which one was going to get stuck with it, but Neller got him on the arm. Only number 2 on him.
Pass at the line for 2. First one good. He has 18 on a 12-point per game average.
They needed a lot of guys to step up with Falkenberg out, and really they've done it.
Falkenberg averaging 24 points per game, out today with a broken hand, suffered in the game yesterday. Second free throw good. Hess hits them both, and here comes the 7-footer Mays in for a defensive switch. Checking out is Mark Hess.
Pioneers get Kibbers in, replacing Lundberg.
69-67, 2-point lead in the possession of the basketball for Mid-America Nazarene. Hepker, that's an over and back violation. Correct call by the official.
Didn't like it because Hepker, they looked like got ridden to the floor, but both players are kind of stumbling. That was a scrap for position. Olkerton doing a great job and smothering Hepker, not just up to the midcourt line, but that battle started in the lane. As Hepker came from a screen to the foul line, Olkerton just draped himself on him, and they just scrapped for position and space up the floor and wound up in an over and back.
Gary Durbin was right there to make the call. Perfect position.
And I don't think you can call the foul there anyway, because those are 2 guys just scrapping for their space on the floor. And you go with the no call, and the Cougars now with a chance to tie or lead with a 3.
They haven't led since 1917 in the first half. Aldikin, bounce pass, low post, Hess, kicks it on the right side. Borchert for the lead. No. Rebound, Hawkins. And a foul on the Cougars. Andy Francis with his second personal foul. 42 seconds to play in the game. Mid-America 69, Mount Vernon Nazarene 67.
It's a double bonus. Will the Achilles heel of the Pioneers. Really the only chink in their armor. Free throws. Will it come back to haunt them? Nope.
Danny
Not yet
Hawkins
anyway.
has 14. They are 11 for 20, just 55% today.
His second one would be big.
For a 4-point lead, it's up and in. Again, they have stretched the lead to 2 possessions, 71-67. 36 seconds to go. Deep 3, Borchert. Got it! A 1-point game, 71-70, timeout Cougars. This crowd is just shaking their heads. They can't believe what they're seeing here at Point Lookout, Missouri.
What a great scrappy team Mount Vernon is, huh? Refused to quit. Refused to quit yesterday. That's what got them here. If they had any quit in them at all, they would have been eliminated in round 1 and probably lost by 30 points. Where they rallied from 20 behind to get to the second round without their best player. They
They were down by 11 to Dakota Wesleyan yesterday, 47-36 at half, and outscored them 37-25 in the second half.
They had a dismal start to the second half. I mean, that game looked like it was just a few minutes away from being over. Mount Vernon Nazarene rallied and stole it.
Seaschultz had a double-double yesterday, 17 points, 11 rebounds. Today, 9 points, including a couple of three-point baskets.
I think they got one timeout left for Mount Vernon Nazarene. Pioneers with 4 of them left.
33 seconds to play. Pioneers 1-point lead in possession of the basketball. Can they get it in? Yes, they do. They'll get it right back in the hands of Kibbers, who almost lost it. Full court press by the Cougars. Great pressure in backcourt, and they'll force Mid-America to use a timeout.
Great timeout called because they were scrambling. That took 6 seconds, and they weren't even 20 feet up the floor yet, and Hepker alertly whistled for the timeout. And they get Lundberg in the game as an extra ball handler in now with a precarious 1-point lead.
The shot clock is turned off, 27.9 seconds on the game clock. If you're Mount Vernon, Ed, and Mid-America gets it across the timeline, how long before you commit the foul?
Oh, it's a tough call. I think you got to play it out until the last 5 or 6 seconds because you still want to give your team a chance to win the game. Come up with a turnover or a stop. And maybe inside of 10, at least gives you opportunity to get the ball up the floor. I think you want to defend as hard as you can and try to hold out until inside of 10.
27.9 seconds to play. Mid-America leading Mount Vernon 71-70. Pioneers with the basketball. They've got a 2-on-1 break, but they'll pull it back out. They had some numbers, and there is the foul. Oh, it's on the 7-footer Steve Mays. He is fouled out of the game.
Well, that was a strategy there. They wanted to foul right away. And I can understand why. The Cougars feel like, look, it's a one-possession game even if you make them both. So let's get the ball as soon as we can. If we can't get a quick turnover, let's get the ball back in our hands and either have a chance to tie or get a few more possessions in this game. They're not looking to just have this game decided in maybe 1 or 2 possessions. Maybe they're thinking get 4 or 6 in this last 23 seconds, which is possible.
You've got 30 seconds to bring a player in off the bench after another player fouls out. And so during this 30 seconds, both Coach Scott Fleming and Coach Rocky Lamar are gathering their teams around. It will be Mark Hess back in for Steve Mays. Both teams the double bonus. If there is a held ball in the last 23 seconds, the arrow favors Mid-America Nazarene. Jake Neller, just a 69% free throw shooter at the line for 2. First one good. He has 16, had just 7 in the victory over Trinity International yesterday. Whether he makes it or not, it's still a 1-possession lead. With 23 seconds to go, the lead currently 2. Neller, the senior from Gardner, Kansas, hits them both. 73-70. Don't necessarily need a 3 here if you can get a quick 2. Borchert will try the 3 deep. Got it! Tied at 73. That was from about 6 feet away from the 3-point line. Mid-America with 6 seconds. They will shoot for the victory. Hepker, shot up, no. Tip attempt, good! Danny Hawkins with 0.6 of a second. Gives Mid-America the lead at 75-73.
Cougars, I think, will call their final timeout with 0.6 to go. Hepker, a great move, forced up a shot in the lane, and Hawkins, a fantastic rebounder with the biggest board of his career, perhaps, on a spectacular tip-in and a 2-point lead. And now the Cougars have got to go 94 feet and get a shot away in 0.6 to win or tie. And they're going to check the tape and see what the clock should be set at. So there may be more than just 0.6 left.
I don't remember them having the video replay last year here. As you said, they're not. It's not for calls. It's just to accurately check and see how much time should be on the clock.
I think it was possession at a different place on Media Row, but they are going to give that a look.
This is the first year for the video webcast of NAIA.org for the Division II tournament here at Point Lookout. It's been a thrill to be bringing you all the action. Again, you can still purchase either a single game or you can purchase the entire tournament up through the semifinals. CSTV will be televising the national championship game on Tuesday night.
I tell you what, I don't think that there's going to be a whole lot more time other than 0.6 on the clock, because that shot was at about 1 second. That thing is definitely under 1, I think, on the tip by Hawkins. We're talking maybe a few tenths of a second to be added, but not a whole lot of time. Because I thought for sure it was under 1. I thought even the buzzer may go off on Hawkins' tip.
I did too. I was waiting to hear it.
You know what? They say they may be right over there. They may not be putting up any more time. And
nope, the timer just got a thumbs up from the officials.
And they're a very confident-looking group over there.
Look at them.
Yeah, we nailed it, buddy.
Their chests are sticking out a little bit like, yeah, we're doing our job. Fist pumps at the scores table. All right, 0.6 of a second to play. 75-73, Mid-America Nazarene with the lead. Mount Vernon Nazarene has to go the length of the floor.
Timeout first, though, from the Pioneers. Mount Vernon out of timeouts. Not that you need any more with 0.6. But the Pioneers just got to look at what the Cougars might have drawn up, and now they'll adjust. We'll see if they change some things. You got a leaper into Quinn War. He wasn't guarding the guy inbounding. But here's a theory. Do you guard the inbounds pass? Or do you play center field and try to follow the ball? But you got a weapon like War that can, as we said earlier, touch the ceiling pretty much. That's a tough guy to throw a pass over. And he comes up to guard the guy inbounding now. He can run the baseline.
Exactly. I was just getting ready to say that.
And so that will give the inbounders some space. The other thing, too, will Mount Vernon Nazarene try to draw a Pioneer foul? They're in the double bonus. Free throws could tie it.
They have all 4 players here in backcourt. Nobody at their end of the floor.
We've seen some crazy finishes in this tournament. You see one more?
I don't think can they check
I don't think so.
now? I don't think so either, no.
He's there and trying to come in. Better not go out too far. That would be trouble for the Mid-America Nazarene. Now some controversy as the officials say.
Now the 45-second buzzer had sounded. Runberg then went to the scorer's table. They're going to check again with the official score.
You know what? They may have made a substitute because I think Kibbers was out there before the Mid-America Nazarene timeout. Now confusion on who should be out there.
Well, they're putting Runberg back on the bench. It was Hawkins who tried to check out. Here we go, 0.6 of a second. Mount Vernon needs a 2 to tie, 3 to win.
War is going to guard the inbound.
Yeah, good move by Rocky Lamar. Baseball pass, catch, shot. Oh, short! Off the rim by Ryan Seaschultz. And the number 2 seed has survived and advanced. Can you believe the effort by Ryan Seaschultz on that shot with 0.6 of a second? I don't know how the ball didn't hit the ceiling on the inbounds pass or the scoreboard. Caught, released as he was falling out of bounds, and it hit the front of the rim.
Unbelievable. I'm not sure how he caught it and stayed in bounds, let alone able to throw it anywhere near the basket, let alone hit iron. That was amazing, but just short, and the Pioneers survive.
75-73. They improved to 31-2 with the victory. Mount Vernon Nazarene from Mount Vernon, Ohio. The Cougars season ends at 25-7. Mid-America Nazarene, the number 2 seed, will play 10th seed Indiana Wesleyan tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock. Recapping the scoring in this one, first of all for the